So I'm gonna start recording about Mr. Sir Isaac Newton and Walt Disney making this game known as Winnie the Pooh Home Run Derby. So like I already said, Mr. Sir Isaac Newton and Walt Disney didn't like it because Walt Disney kept saying beep boop boop bop beep boop bop. And Mr. Sir Isaac Newton was like, nah dude, it's boop bop boop boop bop. And Walt Disney was like, nah, you make the new game. This game's trash. Hate this rabbit character. Mr. Sir Isaac Newton looked him dead in the eyes and said, I know, fucker. And CEO of Walt Disney Pictures, aka Walt Disney, he was like, why do you do this to me? And Mr. Sir Isaac Newton, it's like, he just laughed, he's like, ha! And yeah. There's always been a point where, like, Mr. Sir Isaac Newton just got, like, really upset. Like, in every single timeline, there has always been a point where he just got really upset at a rabbit one day. And just started chucking 30 baseballs at him. I mean, it's kind of cruel. Hey, if we're gonna be honest. But he had to do what he had to do. That rabbit needed to be taught a lesson. Look, cause like the rabbit had such a smug face on him, and Mr. Sir Isaac Newton is like people with smug faces. Another reason he didn't like the CEO of Walt Disney Pictures, aka Walt Disney. What? What was it? Oh yeah. And so there's a rabbit, and he was like this. He's playing baseball with the bear, and Sir Isaac Newton was like, "Man, I don't want an anger and a bear with the bat. He might kick me." Of all things, because Mr. Sir Isaac Newton wasn't a smart guy. He was fucking insane, dude. Do you know he invented gravity? Do you know that, Paca? Dude, Mr. Sir Isaac Newton invented gravity. And he went to Antarctica. And he dug a big hole. And he put all the gravity in a hole. Which is why we need to be really careful of global warming. Because we might have to go back to using harnesses so we don't fall into space. You know, before harnesses were invented, everybody was like Australia, where they had to have harnesses. Cause like, Australia is on like the bottom of the earth, so like, there's not that much gravity there. So to keep them from flying away, they always wear harnesses. Ask anybody you know from Australia, it's a real fact. Some people in New Zealand too. But Mr. Sir Isaac Newton dug a big hole in Antarctica. And, like, he put all the gravity there. I think I already mentioned the global warming part, but I don't think I mentioned the part about, you know, the umbilical cord. We had umbilical cords. I don't know why we still have them. But we had them originally so it would be, like, a natural harness. And like this natural harness would keep us tethered to our parents. That's where the phrase "mama boy" come from. And the guy's a real mama's boy. He's still connected to her umbilical cord.
Oh yeah.
Well, like for generations, there was just people connected to umbilical cords, connected to umbilical cords, connected to corpses. Because you know people die. But like the weirdest thing is like when people would reproduce, they would have their mother stare directly at you. And their mother would stare directly at your mother. It's just really weird. This was before the invention of harnesses. Dude, that guy was a genius, though.
Oh, you just copied the idea from.
So what were you talking about with Sir Isaac Newton?
Mr. Sir Isaac Newton, his great-grandfather actually invented the harness. Mr. Sir Isaac Grater Newton. He was a cheese grater.
You're still supposed to explain how he made Winnie the Pooh.
How I made Winnie the Pooh Home Run Derby. Well,
Yeah.
so he really hated people. Like, he hated them.
Just
So he
get right
created-
into it, huh?
So he created this game. Just was like, man, maybe if I create this game, people will stop trying. Like, just in general. So like, Mr. Sir Isaac Newton was one of like the people who wanted to see the world burn. So like, what he would do was he would go to random people's houses and douse them in gasoline and set them on fire.
I didn't know Sir Isaac Newton was an arsonist.
Oh no, he wasn't an arsonist. He was a physicist. Please don't get them mixed up. But he would do that, and it would be like, fuck you. And he once, oh god, so this is gonna get really dark. Do you know how Walt Disney's parents died?
What?
Yeah.
You know how, right?
Yes.
How did they die?
You explain it. You're the one making the video.
No. Do you know how they died? Like, actually.
No.
A house fire.
Oh god.
Oh boy.
Why are you doing this?
So Mr. Sir Isaac Newton got really mad at Walt Disney because the CEO of Walt
Are you
Disney
making
Pictures.
fucking lore right now?
Yeah.
Are
I mean-
you saying Isaac Newton killed Walt Disney's parents?
Yeah. I thought this was common knowledge.
You gotta tell Jake all of this. When
Well,
you're in the-
don't worry, this is gonna go on YouTube. But so Mr. Sir Isaac Newton was just sitting there one day and he's like, man, I really hate coding this game. So I'm gonna go burn down the CEO of Walt Disney Pictures house, aka Walt Disney. His parents' house. I'm gonna go burn it down. And so he marched his way. Yeah, I forgot to mention that Mr. Sir Isaac Newton could, like, moon jump, mainly because he could control gravity. He had, like, he had a little controller for it. He was like,
He
yeah.
used the Game Shark.
Yeah, he used Game Shark. He'd, like, take a Game Shark disc and forcefully, like, jam it into the dirt and be like, yeah, I want to super jump real quick. And so that happened. Wait, I didn't even get into the Stan Lee cameo yet. But Stan Lee was also a really good friend of the great Sir Isaac Newton. The great Sir Mr. Isaac Newton. That's better. And Stan Lee's like, Excelsior, and made a sword. That was pure gravity. It was just pure gravity. And Mr. Sir Isaac Newton was like, dude, what the hell? I'm supposed to go to Antarctica. It's like, nuh-uh. No, it's not. So Mr. Sir Isaac Newton, like, took this sword, and he stabbed Stan Lee with it. And Stan Lee's like, you should have aimed for the head. And then he snapped. That's an Infinity War joke. But, back to Sir Mr. Isaac Newton and Winnie the Pooh Home Run Derby. I should probably be getting on my shoes. I have work soon. I don't even know if Jake's picking me up. I should check on that. I hope he is. If he's not, I'm gonna get my mom to give me a ride.
You're gonna have to do a lot of editing. for this.
Nah. It's just gonna be a raw upload.
Oh boy.
Why would I want to edit? It's way too much work.
Because it has to be perfect. This is
It
the
is
one-
perfect. It's just string of consciousness.
Walt Disney exposed.
So Walt Disney got really upset because Mr. Sir Isaac Newton burned down his house and killed his parents. So instead of going to the police, he locked him in his basement. It was like, code the game, and whipped him every day. But Mr. Sir Isaac Newton's like, man, I'll make sure this game's impossible. So Mr. Sir Isaac Newton's like, man, I'll make sure halfway through this game meant for children, there's a rabbit. A rabbit who defines the laws of gravity for me. The laws of physics. Because, little did you know, Mr. Sir Isaac Newton, what's it called? Coded this game. Yeah, that's it. He coded this game. And he gave it the best physics engine possible. You always hear Bethesda and shit be like, we have the best physics engine, for our new open world game. And stuff like that. But
Are they
then,
just copying Sir Isaac?
nah, they didn't copy Mr. Sir Isaac Newton's work. Because nobody knows this game has the best physics engine. Because it's a fucking game for children known as Winnie the Pooh Home Run Derby. Which doesn't even load on the Disney website anymore, because Disney took it off after like, Mr. Sir Isaac Newton pissed on his parents' grave. He's like, "Meh," and Walt Disney's like, what the hell, man? First you burned down their house, and now you piss on their grave? You know, I'm not even gonna let your magnificent physics engine even be seen by the world, because although the CEO of Walt Disney Pictures, aka Walt Disney, hated Mr. Sir Isaac Newton, he still thought his work was genius.
Oh,
So you know how Mr. Sir Isaac Newton had a bunch of pages in an attic about physics and shit? Oh shit, they're not giving me a ride. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay.
No one will give you a ride.
No, I can get there in time. I have people. But, oh no. I'm typing in alley like I'm a fucking madman. So I said, oh shit, did not, misspelling did not as N9T.
literally.
Oh my god.
And I was gonna say, I got to ride, but I said I got to ride, spelling gots as G9TZ, and ride as RISR.
So you're writing like a stupid 12-year-old.
No, writing like somebody who's frantically typing because all of this knowledge about Mr. Sir Isaac Newton is running through his head.
Oh,
So, Mr. Sir Isaac Newton didn't like baseball. Because, so, remember his cheese grater of, I think it was great-grandfather it was? Yeah, his, Mr. Sir Great Isaac Newton? Remember that guy? His, great-grandfather? Yeah, so he ended up, who was a cheese grater, he ended up getting beat to death by a bunch of baseball bats because all of these people who didn't like the harness came to him and was like, man, I don't like you. But the weird thing is, baseball wasn't even invented because the ball just kept going up into the air. So they were just bats used to beat people at this point. But they were still called baseball bats for whatever reason. Yeah. So in layman's terms, Mr. Sir Isaac Newton didn't like the CEO of Walt Disney Pictures, aka Walt Disney.